dodging the score, basically. Well, I guess it kind of looks like this. Right here. That's the last time he does it. So he dodges everything in overlap. If you have played this game, raise your hand if you don't automatically hear Orange Meow at the beginning of the stage 4 song if you're listening to it.
Oh man. Yeah.
That was the stage 5 boss, by the way. So the stage 5 boss is the big boss for the stage 6 boss.
She's also the stage 4 mid boss, so she just gets a ridiculous amount of screen time in this game.
It is
this thing.
That when Kefit was trying to get a perfect stage 6 lunatic run, he played it enough that all the crazy stuff you saw earlier, where he was basically hugging the bullets the whole time. What he's doing here in the stage, where he's trying to grace so much, is because he was bored with the stage. He got bored with this. That's how he reacted.
Here we go.
And now the fun really begins.
Yeah!
This, for those of you who don't know, is Touhou Aoji. Caution, yes. She is basically she's basically a crow who was in charge of mining the fires in Hell, but then they had to shut down parts of Hell due to downsizing. Seriously?
Yeah,
this
that's
is part of the official plot. So they shut down part of Hell, and later one of the bosses from the last game comes in and says, we want to modernize Gensokyo, the mystical fairyland where, Touhou takes place. We're going to introduce, high power applications. So we need a lot of energy. How can we get a lot of energy? Nuclear fusion. So they find this crow that was in charge of maintaining the fires of Hell, and they fuse her with one of the avatars of the sun goddess, so that she now has the power to control nuclear fusion. Unfortunately, it goes a little bit to her head. So when you meet her, she's like, I'm going to burn the entire above ground world to a crisp. It's pretty much the only time a Touhou final boss has actually said something truly menacing.
What are you talking about? Byakurin's menacing.
And
What are you talking about?
All that means is that all the giant red explosions, she's throwing suns at you.
Those are all suns.
The name of this spell card is Beta Flare. Zune also likes to throw in references to things he likes in various pop culture. So the lower level difficulties names of this spell card, one of them is Mega Flare, if you've ever played Final Fantasy VI, or pretty much any Final Fantasy.
Not to mention that Yuki is one big giant JoJo's Bizarre Adventures reference.
Yes, JoJo.
Death and Free Step spell card.
Yeah, and part of her backstory is she's taking it easy on you because she's practicing fighting while holding sake and not letting it drop.
Yes. Her sake not even dropped.
Zune loves JoJo. There's references to, the more JoJo I read, the more JoJo references I find in Touhou, seriously. Well, yeah, Sakuya, obviously. There's a line in Embodiment of Scarlet Devil where Marisa goes to fight Remelia, the final boss of that game, and Remelia's a vampire. So Marisa's all, hey, I bet you mean humans. How many people's blood do you suck? And Remelia's all like, countless. Do you remember how many pieces of bread you eat? Which is Dio line, the first part. And then Marius is basically sarcastic back at him.
Oh god. I hate the spell card. Here we go.
What might get lost a little bit, this is the final card. The final cards tend to be over the top, in regards to what's going on. What might get lost a little bit in this is that in addition to all the bullets coming in from the back of the screen and the Touhou spraying stuff out in front of the screen, you'll notice the memory strike is constantly moving because this card has a gravitational pull.
It's sucking you into the center of the screen.
Okay, so you have to deal with that as well as dealing with things coming at you densely packed from behind. And it just picks up. It picks up strength throughout the course of the card.
That one's really close.
And the one final screw you with this card is that even after you've defeated Touhou, the gravitational pull still keeps going, and of course, yeah, so you can crash into another one. I don't care.
Immediately after we defeated Touhou.
See how easy that was? Alright, so that are the Touhou games in a nutshell, as that's going on. But there's a whole lot of other stuff. There's the fandom stuff we'll be getting into later, but there's also other official works. Like there's a whole bunch of comics and a whole bunch of written works, which I believe you'll get into.
Yep.
So
So aside from the games, there's been a number of Windows games, shooting games, a couple fighting games. Zune has also been doing basically almost, ever since he put out the first Windows Touhou game, he'll occasionally release a music CD, which has remixes of some of his older songs, remixes of some of his new songs, as well as basically just new songs he's written, kind of in the same style. So he's put out 5 music CDs, which basically are officially part of Touhou, but not really all game related. They all come with little stories and liner booklets. Aside from the first version of the first CD, which is basically a crazy tale about a bunch of honest men who go to Gensokyo and are killed one by one in murder mystery style by insane clowns. The others deal with these 2 college students in modern day Japan, well, slightly futuristic Japan, who also have Touhou style powers, but are in the real world. Usami Renko, who can tell time by looking at the stars, and Maribel Byrne, who is basically Yukari, proto-Yukari. So there's also been a bunch of print works. He did, okay, I don't have any of those here, but he did,
What's the Doji file?
We'll get to that later. So, jumping a little bit ahead in the comics, the big one everybody remembers is possibly Touhou Boy Show, the main comic of which was Silent Sinner in Blue, which was basically everybody goes to the moon so that Yukari can control the Lunarians. Because basically, Yukari does 2 things: protect Gensokyo and troll everybody out of their minds. And she basically has the power to manipulate the border between anything A and thing B, even if they're concepts like, she went to the moon by manipulating the border between reality and vision on a reflection of the moon in a pond, and used that to travel to the moon. So basically, she's hacks. But yeah, so they went to the moon so that Yukari could pay them back for stuff that happened 1,000 years ago. There's also a bunch of short stories along with that, Cage and Lunatic Renegade, which are really interesting if you want to look up the translations. It's basically kind of, side story for what's going on from different characters' points of view. It's just like, 6 or 7 pages each. It's interesting reading the kind of writing Zune does. He basically just takes lots of little details and ties them all up together. So it's really interesting in that way. There's also the In Above the Moon, In Above the Earth comics, which are pretty much just
they're very lighthearted young comics.
It's Grayson's Super Happy Punishment Time. Quoting from the comic, more or less. The one comic that's ongoing, there's 2 ongoing Touhou comics. Zune basically goes to other artists to draw the comics, but he writes the story. So this is one of them, the Touhou 3 Fairies comics. There's in the center, the one with the fang, Sunny Milk. She has the ability to, manipulate the refraction of light. So she can basically play light and vision tricks. On the left is Lunar Child, and she can change the way sound propagates. And on the right is Star Sapphire, and she can detect, other living things around them.
this is all in reference to the image on the left, by the way, because they're reversed.
Yes,
Right.
Yes. Star Sapphire is blue, Sunny is Fang, Lunar is white. But they're all basically, they're fairies, and their purpose in life is to play pranks on everybody. But since they're fairies, they're kind of dumb. So they usually get pranked instead. But the art is actually done by the guy who runs a Touhou comics group called Clash House. You may also recognize this if you've seen Great Fairy Wars, because that's kind of a spin-off of the fairy comics. He did the cut-in art for that game as well. The other ongoing comic at the moment is Touhou Ibarakasan, which has just started, so we don't really know where it's going. But the person on the left with the double buns and the pink hair is the forenamed Mikasa Ibarra, and she basically claims to be a simple hermit and ascetic who, wants to better everybody's life. And so she kind of comes in and starts harping on the characters and trying to, get to their real motivations for doing things. But in, various Eastern mythologies, ascetics can basically train their bodies to keep living forever. But if they stop their training, they die.